is, and that's kind of what I love about it at this point. I was after a change, you know? And it's just so quiet, it's real living, you know? I'm lugging my laundry down to the laundromat and...
For years, the world accepted the official story of Heath Ledger's tragic death. But shocking new revelations suggest there's much more to it, and it's darker than anyone imagined. Join us as we unravel the chilling truth behind the headlines, the mystery that still hunts Hollywood. Prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan were in charge of a Substance Enforcement Administration investigation to find out if the painkillers in Ledger's system were acquired illegally. However, the prosecutors have stepped back because they don't think there's a solid target, said an official who requested to remain anonymous since no charges have been made. This decision follows news that actress Mary-Kate Olsen was asking for immunity before she would answer questions regarding the shocking passing of her close friend and his substance use. Authorities claim she was the first person contacted by a masseuse who discovered the Dark Knight actor's lifeless body in his Manhattan apartment. The DEA had issued a subpoena that could have compelled Olsen to cooperate if she continued to resist, but the subpoena, which was issued in April, is no longer in effect because it depended on prosecutors moving forward with the case, the official stated on Wednesday. The official also mentioned that the case could still be reopened if new evidence of a crime comes to light. Rebecca Carmichael, a spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office, stated that it is the office's policy to neither confirm nor deny the existence of an investigation. There was no quick reply to a message sent to Olsen's lawyer, Michael C. Miller. DEA investigators believe the painkillers found in Ledger's system, oxycodone and hydrocodone, were acquired through fake prescriptions or other illegal methods. Oxycodone is marketed as OxyContin and hydrocodone as Vicodin. In late February 2008, a DEA investigation into medical professionals connected to Ledger's passing cleared 2 American doctors from Los Angeles and Houston of any misconduct, concluding that the doctors involved had prescribed Ledger different medications, not the pills that led to his passing. On August 4, 2008, Mary-Kate Olsen's lawyer, Michael Miller, released a statement denying that Olsen provided Ledger with the substance that caused his passing and claimed she was unaware of their origin. Miller specifically stated that despite rumors in the tabloids, Mary-Kate Olsen had nothing to do with the substance found in Heath Ledger's home or in his body, and she does not know where he got them. Following a wave of additional media speculation on August 6, 2008, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan concluded its investigation into Ledger's passing without pressing any charges, making its subpoena of Olsen irrelevant. With the 2 doctors and Olsen cleared, and the investigation closed because the prosecutors in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office didn't believe there's a viable target, it remains unclear how Ledger acquired the deadly substance mix that killed him. It seems that other potential witnesses willingly answered questions, including doctors, Ledger's former girlfriend Michelle Williams, and individuals who were in his apartment around the time he passed away. The other medications that Ledger took, such as anti-anxiety substance and sleeping pills, were legally prescribed by doctors in California and Texas. The medical examiner's office did not disclose the specific concentrations of each substance found, but emphasized that the combination was lethal, not an overdose of any single substance. A DEA spokesperson mentioned that it is typical for the DEA to investigate an overdose passing of an individual when multiple substances are involved. The masseuse found Ledger's body on January 22. According to police, she spent 9 minutes making 3 calls to Olsen before contacting authorities for assistance, and then called the actress a 4th time after paramedics arrived. At some point during the series of urgent calls, Olsen, who was in California, called her personal security guards to the apartment for help, police reported. Ledger passed away after completing filming for The Dark Knight, the latest installment in the Batman series, where he received outstanding reviews for his portrayal of the maniacal Joker. The film had grossed over $400 million domestically. With so many questions surrounding the mystery, one thing remains certain: Heath Ledger is no longer alive. Let's take a closer look at what happened on that fateful day. The tragedy after the spotlight. At approximately 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, January 22, 2008, Ledger was discovered naked and unresponsive, lying face down in his bed by his housekeeper, Teresa Solomon, and his massage therapist, Diana Walazin, in his loft located at 421 Broome Street in the Soho area of Manhattan. According to the police, Wolozine, who had come early for a 3 p.m. appointment with Ledger, called his friend Mary Kate Olsen for assistance. Olsen, who was in Los Angeles at that moment, instructed her private security guard in New York City to head to the location. At 3:26 p.m., which was less than 15 minutes after she first found him in bed, and just moments after the initial call to Olsen, Wolozine called 911 to report that Mr. Ledger was not breathing. Following the operator's advice, Wolozine attempted CPR, but it did not succeed in bringing him back. Paramedics and emergency medical technicians arrived 7 minutes later at 3:33 p.m., but they were also unable to revive him. Ledger was pronounced unalive at 3:36 p.m., and his body was taken from the apartment. He was only 28 years old. On February 6, 2008, the Office of Chief Medical Examiner of the City of New York released its findings. These findings were based on an initial autopsy conducted on January 23, 2008, along with a complete toxicological analysis that followed. The report stated that Ledger passed due to acute intoxication from the combined effects of substance abuse. It further noted that they have determined that the manner of his passing was accidental, resulting from the misuse of prescribed medications. While the Associated Press and other news sources said that police believed Ledger passed between 1 p.m. and 2:45 p.m. on January 22, 2008, the medical examiner's office stated that they would not reveal the official estimated time of his passing. The official announcement regarding the cause and manner of Ledger's passing raised worries about the increasing issues of prescription substance abuse or misuse and combined substance intoxication, CDI. In 2017, Jason Payne James, a forensic pathologist, claimed that Ledger might have lived if hydrocodone and oxycodone had not been part of the mix of substances he took right before he passed. He also mentioned that the combination of substance, along with a possible chest infection, led to Ledger's breathing stopping. As the news of Ledger's passing spread during the night of January 22, 2008, and into the next day, media crews, fans, mourners, and curious onlookers started to gather outside his apartment building, with some people leaving flowers and other memorials. The next day, at 10:50, a Ledger's parents and sister stepped outside his mother's house in Applecross, a riverside area in Perth, and read a brief statement to the media, sharing their sorrow and request for privacy. In the days that followed, memorial tributes were shared by family members: Kevin Rudd, who was the Prime Minister of Australia at the time, Eric Ripper, the Deputy Premier of Western Australia, Warner Brothers, the distributor of The Dark Knight, and thousands of Ledger's fans globally. Many actors expressed their sadness over Ledger's passing, including Daniel Day-Lewis, who dedicated his Screen Actors Guild Award to him, mentioning that he was inspired by Ledger's performances. Day-Lewis praised Ledger's roles in Monsters Ball and Brokeback Mountain, calling the latter unique and perfect. Vern Troyer, who was collaborating with Ledger on the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus when he passed away, got a heart-shaped tattoo, an exact replica of a symbol that Ledger had drawn on a piece of paper with his email address as a tribute to Ledger because he had made such an impression on him. In her first public statement after Ledger's passing, Michelle Williams shared her heartbreak and noted that Ledger's spirit lives on in their daughter. After attending private memorial services in Los Angeles, Ledger's family members brought his body back to Perth. A memorial service on February 9 at Penrose College was attended by hundreds of guests and received a lot of media coverage. Ledger's body was then cremated at Fremantle Cemetery, followed by a private service with only 10 family members. His ashes were taken from Fremantle for burial at a location not disclosed to the public. That evening, his loved ones gathered for a gathering at Cottesloe Beach. The song "Foreign Land" by Eskimo Joe was created as a way to honor Ledger. The band was in New York when he passed away. In Ledger's hometown of Perth in January 2011, the State Theatre Centre of Western Australia named a 575-seat theatre after him. The Heath Ledger Theatre was opened with Ledger's Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor and his Joker costume on display in the foyer. Bon Iver's song "Perth" was influenced by Heath Ledger. The lead singer and songwriter of the American indie folk band, Justin Vernon, said in 2011 that he started working on the song in 2008. Vernon had plans to meet with a music video director who was close friends with Ledger, named Matt Amato. Vernon shared that the first thing he came up with The riff and the starting melodies turned into the first track on the album, Perth. Amato was filming the band's music video for The Wolves when Ledger passed. Vernon said it wasn't just about making a music video anymore. They wanted to support Matt as he mourned Ledger's passing. The filming turned into a 3-day tribute. Amato shared stories about Ledger that inspired the song Perth, which is the first track on the band's second album. In an effort to stop rumors that Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker caused his passing, his co-star Christian Bale explained that Ledger loved the challenge of playing the role. Bale emphasized that Ledger had a great time playing the character, and even said it was the most enjoyable experience he ever had as an actor. Terry Gilliam also rejected the idea that playing the Joker affected Ledger's mental health, calling it ridiculous, and noting that Ledger was grounded and not neurotic at all. Ledger won awards for his performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight. In November 2008, he was nominated for 2 People's Choice Awards for his work on the film, winning one for Best On-Screen Matchup with Christian Bale in January 2009. Ledger received recognition for his role in the movie. On December 11, 2008, it was revealed that Ledger was up for a Golden Globe Award for his role as the Joker in The Dark Knight. He ended up winning the award at the 66th Golden Globe Awards on January 11, 2009. The director of The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan, accepted on Ledger's behalf. Movie critics, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Michael Caine, and other actors from the film industry supported Christian Bale in his call for Heath Ledger to be nominated for the 2008 Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role in The Dark Knight. Ledger's nomination was announced on January 22, 2009, which was the day he passed away. Ledger won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor posthumously, making him the second person to achieve this after Australian actor Peter Finch. He was also the first comic book movie actor to win an Oscar for acting. Ledger's family accepted the award on his behalf at the ceremony. After discussions with the Ledger family, it was decided that Ledger's daughter, Matilda Rose, would eventually own the award. However, she would not fully own the award until her 18th birthday in 2023. Until then, her mother, Michelle Williams, would hold the award in trust for her. A trailer for the documentary I Am Heath Ledger was released on the 4th April 2017, with the full film following on the 3rd of May of the same year. The documentary includes old video clips of Ledger and interviews with people who knew him. Ledger's will was submitted in New York City on February 28, 2008. His father, Kim Ledger, mentioned that he viewed the financial security of Heath's daughter, Matilda Rose, as an absolute priority, while also noting that her mother, Michelle Williams, was an essential part of their family. He further stated that they will be taken care of, and that's how Heath would have wanted it. Ledger's will was signed in 2003, before he started dating Williams, and before their daughter was born. It allocated half of his estate to his parents and the other half to his siblings. A report from March 31, 2008, claimed that Ledger might have had another child. However, the child's mother and stepfather denied this allegation. On September 27, 2008, Kim Ledger announced that the family had decided to leave Ledger's $16 million estate to Matilda Rose Ledger. While his passing was tragic, what he accomplished in such a short time was extraordinary. Now let's revisit the unforgettable roles that defined Heath Ledger's career. The rise of a legend. After taking his early graduation exams at 16 to earn his diploma, Ledger decided to leave school and chase his dream of acting. He traveled across Australia from Perth to Sydney with his best friend Trevor DiCarlo, who he had known since he was 3. They returned to Perth, where Ledger took a small role in Clowning Around, the first part of a 2-part TV series, and worked on the show Sweat, where he played a cyclist. Between 1993 and 1997, Ledger appeared in the Perth TV series Ship to Shore. He also had roles in the short-lived Fox fantasy drama Roar, in Home and Away, one of Australia's biggest TV hits, and in the Australian film Black Rock, which marked his debut in feature films. In 1999, he starred in the teen comedy 10 Things I Hate About You and the well-received Australian crime film Two Hands, directed by Gregor Jordan. In the early 2000s, he took on supporting roles as Gabriel Martin, the oldest son of Benjamin Martin, played by Mel Gibson in The Patriot, and as Sonny Grotowski, the son of Hank Grotowski, played by Billy Bob Thornton, in Monsters Ball. He also had leading roles in A Knight's Tale, The Four Feathers, The Order, Ned Kelly, Casanova, The Brothers Grimm, and Lords of Dogtown. In a review from the New York Times, critic Stephen Holden mentioned that both Mr. Ledger and Mr. Gyllenhaal made the painful love story feel real. Mr. Ledger magically and mysteriously became his lean, sinewy character. It is an incredible screen performance, comparable to the best work of Marlon Brando and Sean Penn. Meanwhile, in Rolling Stone, Peter Travers remarked that Ledger's stunning performance is nothing short of an acting miracle. He seems to pull it from deep within himself. Ledger not only understands how Ennis moves, speaks, and listens, he also knows how he breathes. Watching him take in the scent of a shirt hanging in Jack's closet captures the essence of love lost. After starring in Brokeback Mountain, Ledger appeared in a movie called Candy alongside Abbie Cornish, who is also Australian. The film was based on a book about two young lovers who are addicted to heroin and are trying to overcome their addiction. Geoffrey Rush played the role of their mentor. Ledger's portrayal of Dan, a poet, earned him 3 nominations for Best Actor, including one from the Film Critics Circle of Australia Awards. Abbie Cornish and Geoffrey Rush also won awards in their respective categories. Ledger was later invited to join the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences right after Candy was released. In the film I'm Not There, Heath Ledger played the role of Robbie Clark, one of 6 actors portraying different aspects of Bob Dylan's life. Directed by Todd Haynes, Ledger received praise for his portrayal of a moody counterculture actor who represents the romantic side of Dylan. He did not seek accolades as his motivation. Following Ledger's passing, he was posthumously awarded the 2007 Independent Spirit Robert Altman Award, along with the rest of the film's ensemble cast, director, and casting director. In one of his final film roles, Heath Ledger portrayed the character of the Joker in the movie The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. The film was released about 6 months after Ledger's passing. While shooting the movie in London, Ledger described the Joker as a psychotic clown who has no empathy and is a mass murderer with schizophrenia. Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight earned him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor after his passing, making him one of the youngest winners of this award. His family accepted the award on his behalf, and he also received other posthumous awards, such as the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor, which Nolan accepted on Ledger's behalf. At the time of his passing, Ledger had finished roughly half of his work for his last film role as Tony in Terry Gilliam's The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. After his passing, Gilliam decided to adapt the film by having fellow actors and friends of Ledger, Johnny Depp, Jude Law, and Colin Farrell portray fantasy transformations of his character, allowing audiences to see Ledger's final performance in theaters. Ledger had dreams of becoming a film director and had produced several music videos through his production company, The Masses. Director Todd Haynes highly praised this work in his tribute to Ledger when he accepted the ISP Robert Altman Award, which Ledger was awarded posthumously. In 2006, Ledger directed music videos for the title track of Australian hip-hop artist Nafa's debut solo album, Cause and Effect, and for the single, Seduction is Evil, She's Hot. Later that same year, he launched a new record label, The Masses Music, with singer Ben Harper, and directed a music video for Harper's song Morning Yearning. During a press conference at the Venice Film Festival, Ledger expressed his wish to create a documentary about British singer-songwriter Nick Drake, who passed away at the young age of 26 due to an overdose of antidepressants. Ledger also created and starred in a music video for Drake's song about depression, Black Eyed Dog, a title that was inspired by Winston Churchill's term for depression, Black Dog. He was collaborating with Alan Scott, a Scottish screenwriter and producer, on adapting a novel called The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. This project would have been his first feature film as a director. Ledger also planned to star in the film, and Elliot Page was being considered for the lead role. Before his passing, Ledger worked on 2 music videos as his final directorial project. These music videos were for Modest Mouse and Grace Woodroof, and included an animated feature for Modest Mouse's song King Rat, as well as the Woodroof video for her version of David Bowie's Quicksand. The King Rat video was first shown in 2009. Ledger sometimes had a difficult relationship with the Australian media, which caused him to give up the idea of his family living part-time in Sydney. He refuted claims that he spat at journalists during the filming of Candy in Sydney, and that a family member did the same outside his home. During the premiere of Brokeback Mountain in Sydney, paparazzi sprayed Ledger and Williams with water guns in retaliation for past incidents. After the 2005 Screen Actors Guild Awards, the Los Angeles Times said that Heath Ledger made a joke about Brokeback Mountain being nominated, Ledger explained that he was actually nervous on stage and didn't mean any disrespect. He apologized for any misunderstanding and said he didn't intend to make fun of the film or its creators. After discovering that 2 movie theaters in Utah chose not to screen Brokeback Mountain, Ledger commented saying he didn't find the movie controversial, but it seems like maybe the Mormons in Utah do. He finds it amusing and quite immature of a society. During the same interview, Ledger incorrectly mentioned that lynchings were still happening in West Virginia as late as the 1980s. Historians and scholars of the state contradicted Ledger's claim, stating that no recorded lynchings had taken place in West Virginia since 1931. Portraying a range of roles, from romantic leads to tragic figures, Ledger crafted a mix of characters that are intentionally different from each other, saying he felt like he was wasting his time if he repeated himself. He also shared his struggle to find satisfaction in his work, stating that he felt the same thing about everything he does. Ledger preferred to take breaks between projects so he could approach new work with a fresh creative drive. In his own words, acting was about tapping into the infinite power of belief, using belief as a means to create. Directors who collaborated with Ledger praised him for his creativity, seriousness, and intuition. Christopher Nolan, the director of The Dark Knight, expressed his admiration for Ledger's working style, genuine curiosity, and charisma, stating that he had never felt as old as he did watching Heath explore his talents. Mark Forster, who directed Ledger in Monsters Ball, noted that he took the role very seriously, being disciplined, observant, understanding, and intuitive. In 2007, director Todd Haynes likened Ledger's presence to that of James Dean, casting him as Robbie Clark, a fictional representation of Bob Dylan in I'm Not There. Haynes pointed out the similarities between the actors and emphasized Ledger's serious and intuitive nature. He believed Ledger showed a maturity that was uncommon for his age. Ledger, on the other hand, did not strive for perfection in his acting. He acknowledged that he would constantly criticize and analyze his work because perfection does not exist in acting. Ledger even went as far as saying that adult films are more perfect than actors because they actually engage in the activity they portray. Ledger admits he never really understood his own identity in movies. He mentioned that people tend to feel the need to define and label others, and it was acceptable to him. However, Ledger believes there is more to him than what meets the eye, and he aspired to accomplish various goals beyond a single persona. He captivated millions with his craft, but it was his personality, values, and vulnerability that made him unforgettable. Let's find out who Heath Ledger really was. Heath Ledger, more than a star. Heath Andrew Ledger was born in Perth, Western Australia. His mother, Sally Ramshaw, was a French teacher, and his father, Kim Ledger, was a racing car driver and mining engineer. His family owned the Ledger Engineering Foundry, and the Sir Frank Ledger Charitable Trust is named after his great-grandfather. Ledger had ancestors from England, Ireland, and Scotland. He attended Mary's Mount Primary School and later Guildford Grammar School, where he acted in a school production as Peter Pan when he was 10 years old. His parents split up when he was 10 years old and officially ended their marriage when he was 11. Ledger's older sister Kate, who was an actress and later worked in public relations, had a major impact on his acting career, and his admiration for Gene Kelly influenced his successful dance routines, which helped his school's team win their first all-boys victory at a competition. Ledger has 2 half-sisters, Ashley Bell, his mother's daughter from her second marriage with Roger Bell, and Olivia Ledger, his father's daughter from his second marriage with Emma Brown. Ledger enjoyed playing chess from a young age and even played in tournaments. As an adult, he would play chess with others in Washington Square Park. He was a supporter of the West Coast Eagles, a team in the Australian Football League, which is from his hometown of Perth. Ledger was a photographer who was very focused and dedicated. He enjoyed taking pictures and then adding his own artistic touches by painting or using markers or nail polish. Ledger dated Lisa Zane, Christina Cauchi, Heather Graham, and Naomi Watts. In 2004, Ledger started dating actress Michelle Williams after meeting her on the set of Brokeback Mountain. Their daughter, Matilda Rose Ledger, was born in New York City. Matilda's godparents are Jake Gyllenhaal and Busy Phillips. In January 2006, Ledger put his house in Bronte, Sydney up for sale and went back to the U.S. He then lived with Williams in Boerum Hill, Brooklyn. In September 2007, Williams's father confirmed to the Daily Telegraph that Ledger and Williams had ended their relationship. Ledger broke up with Williams and the media started to talk about him dating supermodel Helena Christensen, actress Kate Hudson, and model Gemma Ward. Ward mentioned that she and Ledger started dating in November 2007 and spent Christmas together with their families in Perth. Ledger talked to Sarah Lyle for an article in the New York Times on the 4th of November 2007. He said he had trouble sleeping when he was preparing for roles, and playing the Joker in The Dark Knight was making it worse. He mentioned how he only slept about 2 hours a night the previous week because he couldn't stop thinking. Ledger admitted that even after taking 2 pills, he still couldn't get his mind to calm down and fell into a kind of daze before waking up an hour later with racing thoughts. Before he came back to New York City from his last film job in London in January 2008, he seemed to be dealing with some sort of respiratory issue. He reportedly told his co-star Christopher Plummer from the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus that he was still having trouble sleeping and was taking medication to help with that. Plummer confirmed earlier reports that Ledger wasn't feeling well on set, saying they all caught colds because they were shooting outside on horrible damp nights. But Heath went on, and he didn't think he dealt with it immediately with the antibiotics. He thought what Heath did have was the walking pneumonia. Plus, he was saying all the time that he couldn't sleep, and he was taking all these pills to help him. After Ledger's passing, Michelle Williams spoke to Interview magazine and confirmed that he had issues with sleep. He stated that for as long as he had known him, he had bouts with insomnia. He had too much energy. His mind was turning, always turning. Ledger was widely reported to have struggled with substance abuse. After his passing, Entertainment Tonight showed a video from 2006 where Ledger mentioned that he used to smoke 5 joints a day for 20 years, which means he started at just 6 years old. And news outlets said that his substance problems led Williams to ask him to move out of their Brooklyn apartment. However, Ledger's publicist claimed that the reports about his substance use were not accurate. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.